High blood sugar isn't just a concern for your waistline or your heart. It may also influence how clearly you think. Many people struggling with forgetfulness, mental fatigue, or difficulty concentrating assume these changes are simply part of getting older. But researchers are increasingly exploring another possibility. Your brain's ability to manage and use energy may be playing a much larger role than most people realize. At first, the signs are subtle. You lose your train of thought during conversations. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. Reading becomes more frustrating because you find yourself rereading the same sentences. Names take longer to come back to you. Concentration feels unpredictable. Naturally, most people blame stress, poor sleep, or age itself. And they do what seems logical. They drink more coffee. They try brain games. They make lists. They push themselves harder. Some even accept the changes as an unavoidable part of life. But for many people, the results don't match the effort. That disconnect creates frustration. Because when your body feels reasonably healthy, it's difficult to understand why your mind sometimes feels slow, cloudy, or unreliable. Over time, that uncertainty becomes emotional. People begin questioning themselves. They worry about forgetting important details. They become embarrassed when words don't come easily. Some withdraw from conversations because they fear losing their train of thought. And perhaps the most frustrating part is that many people don't know where to look for answers. For decades, memory and focus problems were often viewed primarily through the lens of aging. But modern research has started exploring something deeper. The brain, despite representing only a small percentage of body weight, consumes enormous amounts of energy. Every thought, memory, and conversation depends on billions of cells working continuously. And those cells need fuel. Glucose is one of the brain's primary energy sources. But having fuel available and being able to use that fuel are two different things. Imagine filling your car with gasoline while the fuel lines are partially blocked. The tank may be full, but the engine still struggles to perform. Some researchers believe a similar situation may occur inside the brain. As people age, changes in metabolism and insulin sensitivity may affect how efficiently brain cells absorb and utilize glucose. When energy delivery becomes less efficient, mental clarity, memory, and focus may also be affected. That idea has led scientists to explore what some researchers refer to as type 3 diabetes, a concept describing the relationship between impaired glucose metabolism and cognitive decline. The concept remains an area of active investigation, but it highlights something important. Memory and concentration may involve far more than simply getting older. Inflammation is another factor attracting growing attention. Low-grade inflammation can influence many systems throughout the body, including neurons and the delicate pathways they use to communicate. Think of those pathways like highways. When traffic flows smoothly, information moves efficiently. But when congestion develops, delays become noticeable. Messages take longer to arrive. Processes slow down. Eventually, even simple tasks require more effort. The same principle may apply inside the brain. Visible symptoms such as brain fog, forgetfulness, and mental fatigue may represent only the surface layer of a much larger system operating beneath the scenes. For years, people focused primarily on the symptoms. But researchers are increasingly interested in the infrastructure itself. Cellular energy, metabolic health, inflammation, neural communication. The real issue isn't simply having high blood sugar. It's how changes in metabolic function may influence the brain's ability to generate and use energy efficiently. That perspective changes the conversation. Because many people blame themselves. They assume they haven't exercised enough. They think they should have done more crossword puzzles or tried harder to stay mentally sharp. But the brain is not an isolated organ. Its performance depends on multiple interconnected systems. Understanding that complexity reduces unnecessary fear and provides a more complete picture of cognitive health. It also explains why two people of the same age can experience dramatically different levels of mental clarity. Age matters. But age alone doesn't explain everything. Factors like inflammation, glucose regulation, insulin sensitivity, and cellular energy may all contribute to how the brain performs over time. That doesn't mean there are simple answers or guaranteed solutions. And it certainly doesn't mean that every memory problem has the same cause. But understanding the deeper mechanisms behind mental clarity allows people to ask better questions and make more informed decisions. Think of a house. If the lights flicker, replacing the bulb might help temporarily. But if the wiring itself is unstable, the problem eventually returns. The same can happen with focus and memory. Addressing only the visible symptoms without understanding the underlying systems often leads to frustration. Fortunately, research into brain metabolism and cognitive health continues to evolve. And that growing understanding offers something many people find encouraging. Because experiencing brain fog doesn't necessarily mean losing yourself. Sometimes it means there's more happening beneath the surface than anyone previously understood. If you'd like a structured breakdown and a practical guide exploring these concepts in greater detail, you'll find additional resources in the description below. And if you enjoy educational discussions about memory, metabolism, and healthy aging, consider subscribing. Understanding how the brain works may be one of the most valuable investments we can make for the future.